generated through all types of channels, not just ours, is considerably down. I mean, it's not just a bit down. In the UK, net is down about 30%, 35%. In the US, it's nearly 30% in recent years. So the studios are getting less money. And the consequence of the studios getting less money, clearly, is they have less money to spend on advertising. They take less risk with film. They produce fewer movies, and they produce what they call safe movies, a lot of sequels and prequels. And they rely on big films to try and drive the market. Unfortunately, when you get a film that doesn't work, it's a big problem because they have so much money invested in it. And also, I'm seeing the fact is our cinema admissions here in the US here, 50% of all admissions are made up by a small proportion of frequent cinema goers, which are about 13% of the population. In the UK, it's staggering. This recent report said 80% of our admissions in the UK are made up by frequent cinema goers, and they're only about 15% of the population. And about 70% of people in the UK apparently never go to the cinema. And I'm staggered about that, but that is a report, it's not mine. I think the number's near 50%. So I'm really concerned about people who don't go and people who occasionally go, and a lot of people who only occasionally go. So I think our customer base is too small, it's too narrow, we're too dependent on too few people, and there's evidence that there is a polarisation of frequent cinema goers becoming more frequent, and occasional cinema goers becoming less frequent. So we have to be really careful how our admissions base is changing over time. So we have a communications black hole. One of the things that I'm really concerned about is that we spend a lot of time saying we're talking to our customers, but actually none of them, or a very small number of them, are actually listening to what we're saying because they're not engaged in our business. And the studios are really good at marketing big films because they have lots of money, and they're really poor at marketing smaller films, generally. And films outside the top 30, and there's over 400 of them, get a pretty poor chance of success because of this communications black hole. These guys on the right, this is kind of like you guys this morning, you're not actually receiving anything. You're like blank televisions. But basically, if you're not tuned into something, you don't listen to it. Okay? So we have to find ways of reaching people who are not engaged in our business. And that's not just sending them an email saying there's a new film out. We have to engage people in different ways. And this chart is I'll try and avoid too many charts, although I do like them. There is an issue, I think, between people's knowledge and understanding of what actually there is to see. I mean, there's a big hole, there's a big gap there. I mean, I don't know what all the films are opening this week, and I'm in the business. I don't know what's happening next week. Every film? No idea. Do I know every film that I would like? Absolutely not. And I'm really close to it. So what we have to do is we have to drive knowledge and understanding. Not awareness. Awareness is one thing, but knowledge and understanding is another. And that's where the engagement piece comes in. Just because you're telling somebody something doesn't mean to say they're actually going to understand what you're saying or respond to it. So what we've got to do is drive knowledge and understanding amongst the public, not just our customers, to drive intent. And we don't have to necessarily give them big discounts to do that. Because actually what we do by giving discounts to people, very often are people who are coming to our cinemas anyway, and we're hemorrhaging profit. So my message today is, I think we're going to have to get into a helicopter. Notice it's a rescue one. I chose that because I think we all need rescuing today. And we need to fly up to 10,000 meters or something and take a different view of the business. And what we tend to do by not doing that, and actually I'm as bad as anybody else, is that we frequently get focused on the really micro thing too quickly. I mean, if you do that, you don't come up with new solutions. And all of us are very engaged in our day-to-day job and little problems that we have. And even as marketing director of View, I got sucked into this level when I should have been in a helicopter more often. It's the case of the way things work, unfortunately. So you have to have the discipline to go in a helicopter. Now, I've put this picture up. We all know what a computer is, but I think the marketing infrastructure that we have is a bit like a computer, right? We set up a basic concept of what we're doing, and it's like the motherboard. we have a processor, we have our strategy, and that's the motherboard. And every now and then we go, do you know what, I don't like the look of this, I'm going to make my graphics better. I'll do a new design. Wow. So we put a new graphics card into our marketing infrastructure and we think, oh, that's great. And then we go, well, actually, it doesn't sound very good, so we'll put a new sound card in. We'll do all the peripheral stuff. But the problem is the motherboard needs fixing. And we change the motherboard of a computer too infrequently. And if that isn't up to date and up to speed, it doesn't matter what you stick around it isn't going to work the way you want it. And and in big companies in particular, the amount of latent technology and old systems and old programs that we're wedded to are very difficult to change. And to change them requires a big decision, bold thinking. So don't be afraid to ditch old stuff, because it probably isn't working, provided you've got a strategy to put in something better. So here we have, you know, this Chewbacca, and I don't know, I thought I'd have to define this word for you, tinkering. Has anybody heard tinkering before? It's a good word. I think Chewbacca, he tinkers with the Millennium Falcon to get it going. But the trouble is, it really doesn't work very well, does it? Right? So it works just a bit and then it stops again. And what we do, I think, and I'm talking about myself here, I did things that were tinkering. They didn't really fix the problem, they sort of temporarily took it away. But the trouble is, I spent quite a lot of money doing it. And a good example of this, and I won't name the exhibitor because it's not fair. It's not fair, I feel like, you've got to mind. Is, they had a product called Super Saver Tuesdays, okay? And it was launched, it looked really good. And then they somehow decided that Super Saver Tuesdays as a message was rubbish. So they tinkered with it and renamed it Super Tuesdays. They are. That's tinkering. But it's not going to drive any more business. It just makes the department feel better they've done something. So what we have to do, and the problem is, the reason I'm coming in from this angle, I'm in my helicopter still, these are the challenges we face, is that if we want to do something bold, it's really hard. Particularly in the big organisation. Actually, the bigger organisation, the harder it is. In smaller companies, it's easier to do things. But we meet challenges. We need to figure out how we resource it, we need to assess the risk, and unfortunately we have to get other people to buy into it in the company. That's the real challenge, right? Because it goes down to personalities as well. How often have we gone, I've got this great idea, and the IT guy says, over my dead body. Or the film buying guy say, what do you know about film? Well, you know. So the effort required to make big change is considerable, and people don't like sticking their head above the wall, right? And being seen to take risks. Because if there's you don't get rewarded for failure in risk, right? And some people have lost their jobs by taking risk. So if we're going to do something different, we have to be bold. And my other little message, there's a light switch here, is you do stuff, we all do stuff that we've been doing for a very long time. And we think it works because we've been doing it a long time. But we're not really sure. So what I would suggest is turn stuff off and see what happens. Is the business going to melt down? Are you going to lose business? You'll find out. A customer's going to complain. You know, things like some newspaper advertising or weekly leaflets or all the competitions that you might do. I mean, there's this huge amount of it put into competitions. But what do they actually do? Who's responding to? What are you doing with the information with it? And how much is it costing you actually in time, money, and resource to do it? Even loyalty programs. My goodness, some loyalty programs most certainly lose money. But you get a lot of exhibitors going, you know, we've had this program with all these people on it, oh, it's really great. You go, how much money is it making? And the answer that comes back is, it's really great. Don't know. So you need to turn things off before you turn things on sometimes. And we love data in marketing. I think it's like a addiction. Marketing people go, I want to know everything about my customer. Oh my goodness. The trouble is, we get drowned in data, and then we have data in different buckets, in different places, it's not connected. And so actually we have actually all the information we have, a good proportion of it is not used properly. And then to try and stick it all back together again and put it into some sort of logical place becomes a really big task. I mean, it can take a year, it can take hundreds of thousands of dollars depending on the size of the business. But we need a data strategy. If you don't have a data strategy, you definitely should have one. Because it is that, at the heart of the data strategy, which is it's the connection that you have with your customers and the public. And to this point, I thought I'd just put this chart up which says, what do you actually need to know to be able to talk to a potential customer? Well, you need a way of connecting with them, so that's email or Facebook. You don't have to have both, or a mobile number. You definitely have to have permission from them to talk to them, or post on their social media pages. And for me, the most important thing is to get some sort of personalisation of film preference data on these people. And ideally, some sort of location where they are, because if they live 200 miles from your cinema, I mean, what's the point, right? But this on the right is actually, this is what a lot of cinemas actually ask. Do you know, it's incredible. I've been asked whether are you married? What? Why do you need to know I'm married? They ask me how many people live in my house, what my income is, what newspapers I read. I mean, for goodness sake. But what do they do with all this data when actually what you need is the left-hand module to start with? And when we communicate to customers, we tend to send the same things out to everybody, time and again. Film times, weekly film times. This film is, Hunger Games is now going to be released, so we send that email to everybody. Every man and his dog that we can think of. The thing is only 5 or 10% of that database is probably even vacant interest. So what I'm trying to do is when we communicate with our customers, and what I'm trying to do and set up with the companies I'm working with, is that I only send them things that they will love, even if they don't know that they will love it yet, but I know that they will. Things they might like, and I like to push their film consumption behaviour by challenging them with things they might like, but absolutely not sending them anything about things that they won't like. Because what's the point? Because they won't listen, they won't read, too much information, and they won't act. You can send other stuff about pricing or retail offers at the same time, but you need to target the communication. Right, so I want to talk a bit about search, and I want to talk about discovery. So here we have the Starship Enterprise, and we're going to boldly go where no one's gone before. And the concept of search has changed. Even Google, who are the biggest search company globally on the planet, are moving from search into discovery. Because there is so much information out there, I actually don't know what I'm looking for half the time. Literally, I don't. Because the choice is overwhelming. So I have to find ways of being led to help me discover things that I'm going to like. And that in marketing is a massive change in the last 2 to 3 years. It fundamentally changes how you communicate to people. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take you through some other people's presentations. I must apologise, I can't do it as well as them. These presentations we've done at CinemaCon and Show East and other places, but I will give you a flavour. Because there are lots of other companies that I work with who are thinking differently and have really clever ideas, but they all need to be shaped, they need to be joined up into an overall strategy.